Hey everyone, so Korea is considering military exemption now. Just a fair warning that the next few videos will be more ranty because I've been stewing in my little I'm beginning to kind of hate K-pop stew, and that means I will be serving that stew to you because that's what you get for subscribing. You get stew. So subscribe if you're hungry. And before I get into it, just for legal reasons and just safety reasons, this is just my opinion, and also everything I'm saying is fictional, okay? Anyway, today I want to talk about the Korean government. Calm down, I'm not that crazy. I want to talk about this statement from the Korean Minister of Culture. And before I say anything, I'm just going to drop in a little "we told you so," and we'll let that stay in the corner for later, okay? Around a week ago, the Korean Minister of Culture talked about military exemption and BTS's contribution to K-pop. He talked about possible changes to the mandatory military service for well-known artists following BTS's success. Just going to repeat that because a lot of you need to hear it again, because of BTS's success, okay? If you didn't know about this, every male in Korea is required to complete a designated amount of time in the military. It's mandatory, and dodging it or trying to flee from it has dire consequences. I'm just going to spend a little bit of a second here explaining the many problems I have with mandatory military service in general, since I've been wanting to talk about it for a while but didn't really get a space to. You can skip it, you can go to this timestamp if you do not care. As someone with mental health and physical health issues that are often considered invisible disabilities, people like me would technically be considered well fit to serve in the Korean military. But I'll tell you something right now. What is considered exemption worthy and not is quite rigid, and sometimes people aren't fit to serve even though they may pass this test. There are people who have issues like anxiety, depression, fears of different kinds, dependencies, and separating them to live in an almost shut-off world is scary. And if people try to avoid it, it becomes this huge black mark on their lives. And don't get me wrong, I understand the bravery of people who serve, and I know why the mandatory service is in place. But as someone who is very much passionate about mental health, I think mandatory service is some of the most crushing and harming and frankly dangerous experience for a lot of men. And the way some idols were treated in the military and seeing some of the behaviors we have recently by Korean men, I think you get what I mean. I have honestly never understood it, and I don't think I ever will. The military is a hard place whether the country is in an active conflict or not, and people who enlist need to be of strong mind and ready, and they should be able to volunteer for this based on their own decision and not forced into it. And this isn't just for Korea, by the way, this just goes for mandatory services in general. And yeah, that's it. I guess I'm no one and I really can't change anything. I can't change the system. I can't go into the pros and cons of abandoning the mandatory enlistment because I do understand that not being Korean and not being a part of the government, I am missing out on a lot of information regarding this. However, I did really want to put my 2 cents in on the issue. Okay, anyway, back to the video. So, if you didn't know, Korean men who bring in gold for the country at the Olympics are exempted and therefore do not have to serve in the military, as they are viewed as already having served their country. Which, sure, that's great, I agree. Guess what my problem is, though? BTS had to enlist. Just for fun, okay? Here's a little exercise. Name one South Korean gold medalist and go. Anybody? Okay, how about name the current president of Korea and go. Weird. Okay, now how about you name any member of BTS's BT21 character? Do you kind of see where I'm going with this? BTS has more than served their country 10 times over, which would be 70 times over, with global recognition not only for themselves, but for the entire genre of K-pop as a whole, being the primary reason and funding for the creation of one of the biggest and most powerful K-pop companies right now. And just sit down, company stands, this is not your time to start yapping, okay? All these companies still suck. It's just about the value BTS brings in continuously. And even the cultural minister says that the results that BTS have achieved through their journey are almost equivalent to winning several gold medals at the Olympics, and so they think it is time to consider various ways to examine alternative military service for popular artists. But see, now we're in a pickle, Mr. Culture Guy, because, and let me just grab that for you right there, we told you so. No K-pop act is able to bring in even a quarter of what BTS brought in, and BTS as a group have been inactive since the end of 2022. So what gives? The people still charting highly are, guess what, BTS solo members. Despite being largely inactive and in the military, BTS and their members are the only ones still pulling commendable numbers. And now, around 2 years in, it clicks for you that maybe you shouldn't have sent the biggest act of your country to serve in the military? The most known people of your country, the literal reason for the spike in tourism, for the spike in consumption of Korean products and music and culture. It's clicking just now? In fact, just for some quick references, in December 2018, the Hyundai Research Institute estimated that BTS were worth more than $3.67 billion to the Korean economy each year, attracting 1 in every 13 foreigners who visited Korea. In fact, their 3-day concert finale in Seoul for their Love Yourself World Tour in October of 2019 was estimated to have an economic value of almost $862 million and brought in 187,000 foreign visitors to South Korea. As of June 2019, BTS's economic effect on South Korea is estimated to be over $4.65 billion per year, about 0.3% of South Korea's entire GDP, which is comparable to Korea's literal airline company, Korean Air. BTS were again credited as one of the acts that helped boost global music industry revenues to $21.6 billion in 2020, the highest figure since 2002. In 2020, a joint report by the Ministry of Culture estimated an economic effect of $1.43 billion because of BTS's entry at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart with Dynamite. The Korean Customs Service and Korean Foundation also credited BTS for the surge in popularity of online purchases of K-pop items, and BTS were also cited as one of the main driving forces for the recovery of South Korea's music-related sector by the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Korean Creative Content Agency, who stated that K-pop has skyrocketed since BTS's popularity, which created jobs not only for BTS and their team, but also other K-pop idols as well. So when we say pave the way, we mean it. BTS as one group brings in more than K-pop as a whole, and now you're surprised and reconsidering when one member already completed their mandatory service, another is almost done, and the rest are well into it? Everyone's always looking for the next BTS, the next artist that will get the benefits that BTS deserve, the benefits that came to be because of BTS's efforts. And I don't mean to be a sourpuss, but if I see any of these boy groups who bring in like a fraction of BTS getting exempted, I'm going to get kind of pissed. I honestly don't get Korea. Like, you do realize how much money and recognition they're getting for you. Like, why do you hate them so much? From unfair treatment to biased and false media coverage, like, you get that the downfall of BTS will be the downfall and eventual end of one of your biggest money-making industries, right? And I know you K-poppies hate to admit it, but the proof's in the numbers, okay? But K-pop was popular before. Yeah, and so was Ratatouille before that rat film, but we can all admit that a lot of us did not know what it was before it. In fact, a lot of us, even the ones who like to dramatically announce their ex-army days like anybody would care, only found out or got into K-pop because of BTS. Some of your 4th and 5th gen faves became idols because of BTS. When rivaling companies try multiple times to create the next BTS, you should know that the original BTS are a huge deal. When you ask a random dude up the street to name a K-pop group, they name BTS. The conversation should have happened back in 2019 when this debate was going on. These facts and numbers should have been observed back then, but y'all kept going back and forth while Korean media began to call BTS cowards for wanting an exemption. And now, after BTS volunteered to go by themselves, ending your year-long debate, now it clicks for you? BTS has a bigger influence than the whole genre of K-pop, and you still want to talk about contributions? I'm gonna be so serious when I say this, that if BTS didn't get exempted, no one in K-pop deserves to. And if you think otherwise, okay, just make sure your faves surpass, or let's be real, even try to match every single feat of BTS. Because we're gonna be waiting a while. There is no next BTS. You have BTS, and you treat them really badly. And if any K-pop boy groups do end up getting exempted because of this, I'm gonna need all of them and all of their ass fans to bow down all the way to the floor and say, thank you, BTS. Because you can't be disrespecting people that put your faves on the map. Thank you, that has been my time. You can like and definitely subscribe because, as you know, there are a lot of issues surrounding K-pop and especially BTS going on right now, and I'm about to unpack all of them in my next few videos. Okay, bye!